Good morning, students, faculty, staff, and guests. I'm Head Girl Prefect Savannah Stranigan, and I welcome you to our annual Veterans Day Assembly. The challenges that COVID-19 has brought to our nation have been severe, but the fact that we cannot assemble in person will not stop our gathering, albeit abbreviated and over video screens, to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage and dedication, and to say thank you for their sacrifices. While Memorial Day is our nation's moment to honor those whom, words of President Lincoln, gave the last full measure of devotion and died while serving in the armed forces, Veterans Day is our opportunity to honor all who served, especially those who, like Cincinnatus, left their military career behind when they put down their sword and picked up the civilian's plow, or more recently, the smartphone. I invite to the microphone the Pine School's head boy prefect, Sam Levine, class of 2021, to read this year's presidential proclamation.
On November 11th, Americans commemorate the service, sacrifice, and immeasurable contributions of our nation's veterans, who have proudly worn our country's uniform to defend and preserve our precious liberty. As we celebrate our Veterans Day, we pause to recognize the brave men and women who have fearlessly and faithfully worked to defend the United States and our freedom. Their devotion to duty and patriotism deserves the respect and admiration of our grateful nation each and every day. We are forever thankful for the many heroes among us who have bravely fought around the world to protect us all. Time after time, throughout the history of our republic, veterans have defended our way of life with integrity, dedication, and distinction. In respectful recognition of the contributions their service members have made to advance peace and freedom around the world, the Congress has provided that November 11th of each year shall be set aside as a legal public holiday to honor our nation's veterans. As Commander-in-Chief of our heroic armed forces, I humbly thank our veterans and their families for their willingness to answer the call of duty and for their unwavering love of country. Today, we pledge always to fight for those who have fought for us, our veterans, who represent the best of America. They deserve our prayers, our unending support, and our eternal gratitude. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, do hereby proclaim November 11th as 2020 as Veterans Day. I encourage all Americans to recognize the fortitude and sacrifice of our veterans through public ceremonies and private thoughts and prayers. I call upon federal, state, and local officials to display the flag of the United States and to participate in patriotic activities in their communities. I call on all Americans, including civic and fraternal organizations, places of worship, schools, and communities, to support this day with commemorative expressions and programs.
Next, our music department has prepared a collaborative piece that incorporates all three divisions of singing and playing. Please enjoy Armed Forces, The Pride of America, arranged by Larry Clark and Greg Gilpin.
We have done
Our guest speaker, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Chaplain Fred McFarland, served for 27 years. In addition to being Mr. Osborne's father-in-law, he deployed to Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan.
Good morning, Pine School Knights. Thank you for having me be part of your Veterans Day services. I joined the Air Force in 1983 and served for over 27 years. Ronald Reagan was the president. At the time, we didn't know it, but we were at the end of the Cold War. In 1989, when I came on active duty, a year later, I deployed for Desert Shield and Desert Storm, first to Egypt and then to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. When I was in the Air Force, I went to 42 different countries. I had an opportunity to see history unfold, to have a front row seat in different nations, to listen to their stories, to get their perspectives. One of the things sometimes Americans forget is how large our country is, and then how large our military is compared to other nations. Our family lived overseas twice, both times in Germany. I ended up deploying to almost all of the major conflicts that were between 1983 and 2010 when I retired. There are two stories that I think mean the most to me. One is at the beginning of our operations in Afghanistan after 9/11. I would go and pray with C-17 pilots, those are big cargo planes, that would go to Afghanistan from Germany and drop 100,000 ready-to-eat meals every night for over 100 days so that people would not starve, so that children would not starve. And then when I was a chaplain in the hospital in Balad, Iraq in 2005, I had the opportunity to be with men and women who were taking care of very severely injured people and to be with those people, to minister both to Americans and our international partners. One of the things chaplains do is make sure everyone has the opportunity to worship. One of my assignments, I had both Protestant and Catholic, Jewish and Orthodox, and Muslim chaplains who worked for me. One of the sad things about being a chaplain in war, and this happened both in Iraq and in Afghanistan, was you're with people when they die. You give them comfort, you give their unit members comfort, you are able to let family members know that their military member was not alone when they died in service of their country. I think that in this time of what we think of as pandemic and protest, with the uncertainty here at home that you experience and see around you, whether you see people with masks or having to isolate and stay at home, there are men and women who are serving and have served that are all around the world. Sometimes you'll see veterans who are homeless. And these are people who are troubled, but yet there are, through the Veterans Administration and other programs, there are ways to take care of homeless veterans and veterans who have been severely traumatized by their service to our country. But remember that our service to our country is so that we can be safe from military aggression. We know that we have people who are in the medical services or are helping out with COVID-19 all around the world, that our transportation aircraft are delivering supplies to remote areas. So today, when you think about veterans, people who have served, thank them for it, and remember that they were young once too. I've been retired for 10 years. Veterans have had a front row view of history, and so when you study history, remember that there are people who actually lived through it, who did it because they were willing to sacrifice all to make you safe. And so again, thank you for having me be part of your Veterans Day service, and I hope you are able to stay safe in our time of COVID-19. Thank you.
On behalf of the Pine School community, I say thank you again to our guest, Lieutenant Colonel McFarland. Thank you also to our musicians. Let us leave this place with a renewed appreciation for those who served.